The fact that pop singer Taylor Swift is romantically involved with American National Football League player Travis Kelce is no longer a secret. And despite the fact that Travis has had a crush on Taylor for a very long time and even presented her with a bracelet that matched his as a sign of his undying love for her, it took some time for Taylor to realize that Travis was the genuine article and that he deserved to be given a chance. It would appear that Taylor went beyond Travis's cheesy love technique, large figure, attractive face, chiseled arms, and great career, only to find a human being who is loving, intellectual, bright, and understanding, and as a result, worthy of her time, energy, and of course, her heart. There is no way to get around the fact that Travis is putting in extra hours to demonstrate that he is the boyfriend of the year. Dude has contributed to the definition of what it means to be a boyfriend who is supportive. For example, he not only traveled to Argentina to show his support for his girlfriend during her concert, but he also spent millions of dollars on a mansion exclusively for the purpose of having greater privacy with his girlfriend. It's really romantic. The additional attention that comes with dating someone as renowned as Taylor is something that Travis is not afraid of or intimidated by, in contrast to the previous boyfriend that Taylor had. Furthermore, he does not have any qualms with revealing to the public that he is deeply in love with her. And you are aware that it is something that Taylor undoubtedly values, considering how famous she is and everything else. But are you aware of what took us by surprise? No one, not even you, could have predicted the development of this connection. I mean, who would have thought that Taylor's next companion would be a figure from the sporting world? Similarly to the men she chooses to be with, they are often actors or people who are active in the music industry. The likelihood of her boyfriend being a National Football League player appeared to be quite low, and to tell you the truth, it was completely unexpected. That makes you want to look more closely at Travis and question once more, what exactly did it do for Taylor? Even though we don't find it to be very offensive, how did she get to the conclusion that she wanted to be with this guy in the first place? So let's take a more in-depth look. All of you guys are familiar with the proverb that says, "It is the thoughts that count." The fact remains that Taylor was aware of Travis's creative thought process and was keeping track of it. To put it another way, who would have the audacity to consider manufacturing a bracelet with his phone number on it and intending to surprise Taylor with it at her concert? I mean, man, just please stop. This is how Travis's ambitious plan turned out to be. In other words, he went to one of her concerts and was planning to meet her during the meet and greet that was supposed to take place. As a result, the fanboy fashioned a friendship bracelet for her that featured his phone number. However, Travis's ambitious plan was doomed to fail, which was a great disappointment. The meet and greet was supposed to take place, but Taylor did not show up, and you couldn't blame her. It was clear that she had worn herself out with her performance earlier that evening, and all she wanted to do was go into bed and get some restful sleep. And even though Taylor wasn't able to meet the person she would spend the rest of her life with that evening, fate had other ideas for her. Travis must have experienced the deep feeling of disappointment that he couldn't avoid talking about on the podcast that he and his brother run together, and because fate is somehow making a way for these two, Taylor would learn about Travis's intriguing move to entice her to date him. She would also learn that Travis has been crushing on her for a very long time and that, despite being a well-known and accomplished NFL player who has won Super Bowls, he is a proud member of the Swifties. Now that Taylor had recently been single, there would have been a few celebs who would have been sending her direct messages and attending gatherings in order to make their presence known. On the other hand, Travis was able to pique her curiosity in some way. From Taylor's perspective, the fact that Travis expressed his feelings for her without ever having the opportunity to meet her was meant to demonstrate to her how open-minded he is. The openness was something that she had longed for in her relationship with Joe Alwyn, which had lasted for 6 years. For her, it was a sense that made her feel refreshed. See, she was very into Joe, and we don't think she was overly concerned about the privacy issue, but in the end, it was impossible for them to maintain their relationship, and Taylor was aware of this fact. In the event that you are not living under a rock, you would be aware of the fact that Taylor's career is currently at the pinnacle of her trajectory. To put it another way, she is that superstar. There were thousands of people in attendance at our girls' concert shows, and they were completely sold out. She has issued 2 albums in a row that have been commercially successful, and to tell you the truth, her reputation naturally requires that she be seen more frequently in public. After some time had passed, she found that the constant sneaking about she was doing with Joe was nothing short of tiresome. Do you guys have any recollection of what Taylor's public life contained back in those days? Whether it was her secret sessions with her admirers or her extravagant July parties, she was a fire. She would hit the red carpet with her many friends, and then she would depart to enjoy a wild night with them. She was a fire. Each and every one of those things experienced a significant setback, not only because of Joe but also because of the never-ending controversy and bullying that occurred online. Without a doubt, the one that caused the camel's back to break is the one that involves Kim Kardashian. Nevertheless, following the epidemic, we witnessed her attempting to make a comeback as a more present public figure. However, it appeared that Joe was preventing her from doing so. As a result, it was clear that the words of her song "You Are Losing Me," which was released in 2021, were addressed at Joe and the challenges that they faced when they were together. It was physically impossible for her to continue living her life in order to satisfy him. And then this man steps in, who is not ashamed to admit how profoundly he was into Taylor despite the fact that they were not yet being together as a relationship. The fact that Travis was attempting to catch her attention by wearing the bracelet was, according to Taylor, quite entertaining, which is what ultimately caused her to pay some attention to him. In addition, the singer disclosed some exclusive information to The Times, stating, "This all started when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast, which I thought was metal as hell." Sometime later, a few months later, we see Taylor at one of Travis's games, which is an indication that these two might be giving one other an opportunity to succeed. The majority of us, of course, were under the impression that it was their first date. However, Taylor explained that they had indeed hung out on multiple occasions before to the game. "By the time I went to that first game, we were already romantically involved," she stated. A number of individuals are under the impression that they witnessed our first date at that game. There is no way that we could ever be that mental that we would go on a first date. She added that prior to the game, they had a considerable period of time that no one knew about, which she is thankful for since it allowed them to get to know each other better. It was around that time that she began to recognize that he was more than just a man attempting to attract the attention of a celebrity. Rather, she recognized someone who genuinely cared about her. Taylor is enjoying the time of her life with Travis up to this point in their relationship. She can now be the fun-loving girl who loves to be seen having the finest time with her folks. It is as if a weight has been lifted off her shoulders, and she can now truly be that girl. The nicest thing is that she now has a partner who is not only openly there for her but also regularly shows up for her. This is a significant improvement from the situation she was in with Joe, who did not provide her with any kind of covert support. When you give it some thought, it is quite humorous. In a literal sense, Joe goes to her concert while concealing his face from the camera and wearing a face cap. That is done by who? Are you even unable to publicly show your support for your daughter during her concert? Why don't you try? There is a striking difference between Travis's behavior of simply smiling with them and occasionally looking at them as if they do not even exist, which is something that Taylor has been doing for years. Let's not forget the incredibly awkward footage of Joe forcing Taylor into the car when he was attempting to dodge the paparazzi. Now, let's not even go so far as to claim that Joe is having a hard time dealing with that much attention, because Travis is also not used to it, and here is what he has to say about it. "I've never dealt with it," he stated on the situation. However, at the same time, I am not attempting to escape any of whatever it is. Despite the fact that she is surrounded by photographers outside her home, outside of every restaurant she visits, and after every flight she lands, she is simply living her life and taking pleasure in it. The scrutiny she receives and the amount of attention she receives on a daily basis are both astonishing. Whenever she behaves in such a manner, I had better not be the one acting in a peculiar manner. One can easily distinguish between the two. Despite the fact that being together brings with it a significant amount of media attention, Travis and Taylor are not running away from it. On the contrary, they have accepted it and are working to keep it moving forward. As a result, it can be said that they are all in favor of liking one another and being proud of each other. You just know that she was having a blast after saying, "When you say a relationship is public, that means that I want to see him do what he loves. We're showing up for each other. Other individuals are there and we don't care," she explained. The converse of that is that you have to put in a tremendous lot of effort to ensure that no one is aware that you are seeing someone else. Simply put, we are rather pleased with each other. So, what are your thoughts on this matter? Having found her Prince Charming, has Taylor Swift found him? Or would Travis break under the overwhelming pressure of being in the spotlight for a longer period of time than usual? Your ideas are welcome in the comments section below. You should make sure to subscribe to me if you do not want to lose out on the most recent celebrity news.